Hello, Doug here, and welcome back to yet another board game channel, where I will be starting yet another board game playthrough, and this time, as you can see, we will be attempting Dungeons & Dragons Wrath of Ashardalon, one of several D&D based board games. Now, I've never played this before, so mistakes will be made. At the very least strategically. Won't be doing how to play in this first part. We'll just kind of learn it as we go, although I have watched it played a number of times on YouTube. In fact, I think I'll put a link to the Watch It Played tutorial, Rodney Smith's channel, because his are very good and very instructive. Because it is my first time playing it myself, I am going to do the basic solo introductory adventure number 1, which is entitled A Day in the Life of a Hero. Now, for setup, let's switch to that. Right, the decks have all been shuffled. Monsters are off to the side, just waiting to pounce out at us. So we'll go over the hero we'll be using in this solo adventure. We're going to be using Vistra, the fighter, the dwarf fighter. You have come to Firestorm Peak to destroy Ashardalon and restore your ancestral home. Take a quick look at her stats. Her armor class is 17. Monsters need at least 17 to hit her. 8 hit points. And we got a number of little tokens we'll be putting on to indicate that. Her speed is 5, so she can move up to 5 spaces when she is using move action. And her healing surge, when she comes back from the brink of death, she comes back with 4 HP. Her innate ability is Cast Iron Stomach. You get a +5 bonus to rolls to end the poisoned condition. There's a poison condition that we'll deal with if it comes up. And then we would choose powers. You can use the following power cards. So by default, she is always going to get, because she's a dwarf, Dwarven Resilience. Your Dwarven heritage grants you uncommonly strong health. Use this power during your hero phase instead of moving. Regain 4 hit points, and it's a daily power, which means she can only use it the once, so it will be turned over when she does use it. Hopefully there will be things that allow us to flip them back every once in a while if we're astoundingly lucky. Let's see, take 1 utility power, which again is a 1 use per adventure type of card. Inspiring Advice. You encourage your teammate to fight on. Use when a hero misses a monster with an attack. It doesn't say another hero, so she could use it herself. The hero re-rolls the attack. If you still miss, we don't flip the card over. We only flip it over when it actually is successful. 2 Fighter at Will powers. She will have Charge. You rush into combat. Move up to your speed, then attack one adjacent monster, and she'll get a +8 on her roll and do 1 damage if she's successful. She get at will. You can just use as many times as you want through the adventure, so we'll be using them all the time. Her other at will power is Sure Strike. You trade power for precision. Attack one adjacent monster, and it's a +11 to her roll, which is pretty good, and that will also do 1 damage. And finally, she gets 1 fighter daily power. Now the adventure book recommends choosing Into the Fray as your fighter's daily power. However, it's not at all useful when playing solo. Place your hero adjacent to any hero within 2 tiles of you. So that's useless when you're by yourself. So instead, comeback strike. A timely strike gives you the strength to fight on. You attack an adjacent monster. If you hit, you actually regain 2 hit points. And again, like inspiring advice, if it fails, if you don't hit, you don't have to turn it over. It only gets turned over on success. Alright, the next thing we will do is go over the adventure and its specific setup. Okay, these are the components we're going to need to set up the adventure. Let's have a quick look in the adventure book to see what is what. Alright, Adventure 1, A Day in the Life of a Hero. While chasing monsters through the wilderness around Firestorm Peak, you fall through a hole into the caverns below. Can you survive long enough to find another way out? So our goal is to explore the dungeon, reach the tunnel exit, and escape before the monsters destroy you. As you can see it, again, 1 hero, solo experience. The adventure setup. We would take out the special components for the adventure, the start dungeon tile, right there, which does actually count as 2 tiles when movement is going to occur. The tunnel exit, and the Kobold Dragon Lord villain card. We'll have to fight him, and the matching figure. So, to set up, we set the start tile on the table, of course. We get to place the hero on any square adjacent to the stairs, so we'll just choose there. That's as good as any. We're going to then shuffle the dungeon tiles, it says. These are funny things to have to shuffle. And then insert the tunnel exit tile into the dungeon tile after the 6th. Into the dungeon tile stack after the 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when we hit the 6th tile during our exploration phases, we will, in fact, find the tunnel exit and try to get out. But first, we have some special adventure rules. Right, the tunnel exit. When the hero reveals the tunnel exit pile, place the Kobold Dragon Lord on the tile and read the text below. We'll read it at the appropriate time. So the victory conditions. You win the game when your hero defeats the Kobold Dragon Lord, so we do have to beat him, can't just run away, and escapes from the dungeon by ending his or her hero phase on the stairs on the tunnel exit tile. And defeat, you lose this adventure if your hero has 0 hit points at the start of his or her turn and there are no more healing surge tokens. You get 2 healing surges over the game, which means you can come back from having 0 hit points twice. So if you run into these and you hit 0, well, you just lose. So let's move the Dragon Lord out of the way. Move the dungeon tiles a little bit. And we are going to read the beginning of the adventure, and then we'll take a turn or two. The monsters raiding the village of Longbridge have led you on a long chase. Just as you are about to catch up with the last of them, the ground beneath you breaks away, and you plunge into a deep hole. You have fallen into the dungeon beneath Firestorm Peak. Can you survive long enough to find a way out of the dark and twisting tunnels? Well, let's hope so. Alright, Vistra stands up, brushes herself off, and thinks, right, how do we get out of here? Well, we have a handy sequence of play card that will let us know how we can try to get out of here. So this, as you can see, there's 3 phases: hero, exploration, and villain. For the hero phase, if you have 0 hit points, we're not using a healing surge, that's fine. Then Vistra can perform either move then attack, attack then move, or make 2 moves. None of those is technically possible, because once you reach the end of a tile, you can't move any further. So all she can do is 1 move. She can move diagonally, and up to 5 spaces. So let's just go right there. That's the end of the first hero phase. Wasn't that exciting? Then, the exploration phase. If you occupy a square adjacent to an unexplored edge, we go to step 2. Draw a dungeon tile and place it with its triangle adjacent to the unexplored edge. There we go. So that is what she sees when she reaches that point. Now we've got the burn mark there, which means, oh, and you know what? I forgot something. Just realized during the setup, Vistra should have gotten a treasure card to start with. So if it's an item, we keep it. If it's not an item, we just keep going until we do find an item, because sometimes the treasure cards are just statuses and events that help you. Item, oh, +2 magic sword. This weapon is forged using ancient dwarven secrets. Play this card immediately. You gain a +2 bonus to attack rolls against adjacent monsters while this item is in play. Well, she's always going to be attacking adjacent. It's what she does. So there we go. A +2 to all her attack rolls. Nice. Right. So now, what reminded me is I go over and reach and grab another deck. The monster deck. So we'll flip it over and see what monster appears on that little burn mark symbol. Yikes. Legion Devil. Classification Devil, not surprising. Armor class of 16, only 1 hit point. When placing a new Legion Devil, we'll grab the figure, place 2 additional Legion Devils next to the first. Yuck. You do not gain experience for this card until all Legion Devils are destroyed, and then we have what it will do on its attacks. Well, that's terrible. That's not a good start. I'm glad we at least got that sword. At least our first card draw was nice. Oh. Let's see. Yep. There's a Legion Devil. It goes there, and we have to take 2 more and put them on adjacent spaces. This is not good. Let's put them like that. We do get to choose. Right. Now that we've done that, we hit the villain phase. If you didn't place a tile during your exploration phase, we did. Or if we placed a tile with a black triangle, we did not. It's a white triangle. Draw an encounter card. So we don't need to, which is good, because encounter cards are normally bad. If the villain is in play, well, it's going to be our Kobold Dragonlord. He is not in play, so we skip that. Then activate each monster and trap you control in turn in the order you drew them. So we just have the one. So, the Legion Devils are going to come at us. If the Legion Devil is within 1 tile of a hero, and they all are, it moves adjacent to the closest hero and attacks with a sword. Otherwise it moves 1 space, or one tile towards the closest hero. Alright, there we go. We've moved 1. Now, it's going to attack with its sword, it says right there, sword, with a plus 11 on its roll, and we have a 17, so we really want it to roll less than a 6. That's bad. 18. No, that would in fact be a hit. Most definitely. So we will remove 1 hit point from Vistra. So she's now down to 7. And now we have the next one. Comes up and does the same attack. He only rolled a 1, so it didn't connect. Yes. And then the third one. Now let me think. They can probably move through each other. Or that one could have gone there. And this one there. Yeah. Yeah. To be strictly fair, they should all be able to reach her, I think, if possible. And here it is. And yes, again, diagonals are fine. Hey, a 2. That's great. We only got hit by 1 of them. Which is, yeah, surprisingly lucky. All right. Let's quickly do one more turn. So we're going to have Vistra is going to use her Sure Strike. She attacks 1 adjacent monster. They're all adjacent. She gets a plus 11 to her roll, and we need the Legion Devil has an AC armor class of 16, so we need at least a 16 total. 10, 11 is a 21, yes, and they only have 1 hit point each, so that actually takes that one out. Now, she can't attack twice, unfortunately, which just leaves her with a movement action. Now, if she doesn't move and if she doesn't explore, we're going to get an encounter, period, no matter what. So I think maybe, yes, let's just have her run away a little, because they're going to come after her no matter what. So let's not do a definite encounter, and let's just go with a maybe encounter. Of course, it will give us another monster. Again, as I said, mistakes will be made, most likely strategically, and this is probably a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next tile will actually go that way. Over here. Let's move that down a wee bit. You can see. So we avoided an encounter anyway, although we now do also have to pick monster card. Oh boy, getting all the bad ones. It looks like Duragar Guard. Well, nothing special happens when it spawns, so let's just grab one. See if I can figure out which one of these it is. Okay. There he is. He's actually a dwarf. It's a fellow dwarf. Come on. You don't want to attack me. I'm a dwarf. We're friends. Really. All right. So, we don't have to do an event. An encounter, rather, mercifully. First up will be the Legion Devils, who are both within 1 tile of the hero. So, do that one first. He moves adjacent and attacks with his sword. That will, again, be a plus 11. 15 and 11 is way more than 17. So we lose another point. Thank goodness there are 2 healing surges, because I think I'm going to need them. And the other one will move and do the same sword attack and roll a 1. Ah, so there. Alright. So, the way the guard works, it's their turn. If the Duragar is adjacent to a hero, it is not. So we move on to, if the Duragar is on the tile with no heroes and an unexplored edge, draw a dungeon tile from the bottom of the stack and place it next to the Duragar's tile. Draw a monster card and place its figure on that tile. Wow. So he just summons more. And it's from the bottom, so it doesn't even increase our, improve our chances of getting out of here. So there we go, another one, which will immediately spawn another monster, which is going to attack us, or try to, depending on what it is. Cave Bear. That sounds less frightening than everything else. Here we are. Cave Bear. It was right there. So, yes, that means the Cave Bear gets to activate during this fill-in phase. Blech. So, if the Cave Bear is on the same tile as the hero, it is not. Move on. If it is within 1 tile of a hero, it actually isn't, because we are 2 tiles away. So, we move on to otherwise. The Cave Bear moves 1 tile towards the closest hero, and it does so. Well, it would normally move to the burn mark. It can't, so we get to choose where it does go on the tile instead. Alright. I think we'll just stop that first episode here. Got an idea, big idea what we're doing. We are surrounded by critters left and right, which I think is going to happen in this game no matter what we do, because a monster spawns on every single tile. So, we will leave it at that. So, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for those of you who have subscribed, and clicked like buttons, and commented, and all the rest. And we will see you in the next episode as we continue a day in the life of a hero in Dungeons & Dragons Wrath of Ashardalon. See you then.